I have, or had a friend that was one of my really good friends for years. Literally named her kid after me. She told me that she has herpes. They had been sleeping together. The guy and her had been sleeping together off and on or whatever. I was cleaning, and when I got done, I went to Patty's, which is like literally across the road. I had 2 shots there.
So you went to Patty's, you had 2 shots, and what happened after?
When I walked in, they were already all there. Like, there was a group of them, Mike, which is the guy that we're talking about, Carson, and Jonathan Mitchie. Anyway, we haven't even ever hung out like that. We have a mutual friend. So it's normally like, hey, how are you, whatever kind of thing. I was by myself that night when I walked in. I came in, I got my drinks or whatever. I ordered a beer as well. Mm-hmm. But the next morning, the beer was in my car, full. So I know I didn't drink it. Like, it maybe had a couple sips out of it.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't like, it was open.
Yes. I had that beer, but I didn't drink it. There were 2 shots that I had at that bar. I won't lie, I can drink more.
Which was the black and yellow shot? Okay.
And I can drink a lot of those, if I'm honest. Since then, I have drank probably almost 3 times the amount I drank this night just to prove to myself that I'm not fucking crazy. Because there's no way that the amount of alcohol that I had would make me black out and then wake up feeling like I had taken 4 Xanax bars. Basically, had the 2 shots there. And they were like, oh, let's go to the Grove. I'm like, okay, why not? Whatever. So we went for the Grove, right across the street. It's a bar.
Oh,
it's the one right over here. Yep. So we went from Patty's across the street to this bar right here. He rode with me.
When you said he, who are you referring
Mike,
to?
the guy that the situation is about. He rode with me from...
Do you know his full name?
Michael
Mayorga. Okay. So let me stop you right there. So is Michael your friend?
He is a friend of a friend. The girl that I mentioned with the herpes. I know him through her.
Okay.
Because they had sexual relations. It's like what they do weird, but it doesn't matter. I don't care about it.
Okay. So you know him through her?
Yes. But I know the only ever time we've ever had he's made a lot of sexual references, but it's like, oh, do you want to have a sandwich? Anytime he's seen me, we weren't ever like intentionally hanging out. It was more like, hey, how are you? We're at the same place, and then we'd keep it going. That was the first time I actually hung out with him. We went from Patty's to the Grove. And I even checked with the bartender to confirm the amount that I had, even when I got there. And I got there and I had 3 black and yellows and 1 Rumpelmans. And that's all I had.
This is the girl that served you?
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Did you have any drinks at Patty's?
The 2 shots.
Okay. And then you had at the
3 black and yellows and 1 Rumpelmans at the Grove.
So you ordered the same thing? Okay, hold on. And then what happened once you were here at the Grove?
So we were at the Grove. I remember taking the black and yellows. And then I remember while we were at the bar, like, we were very close. Because, like I said, that situation, I don't want everybody and their mom to hear me. I don't want to talk about her having herpes in the middle of the bar. But he kept coming on to me, basically, and I was like, listen, even if I was interested, I would need papers showing me that you're clean because I think that you have herpes. It's a health risk that I'm not willing to take. No matter what, if I were to ever touch you, you would have to give me papers. For an hour-long conversation. And him trying to explain to me, I use condoms with her, which she's already told me they hadn't. Or, so it was just different things to where I was literally the whole time telling him,
so he was trying to hook up with you.
Yes. And I made it very clear that, first of all, I think you have herpes. I don't know that. However, I'm worried about that.
Because your friend and him were
I wasn't involved in it.
I got you.
I was not involved in any way whatsoever other than being her friend, so I was aware of what was going on. But that's how I was worried about the herpes because I knew my friend had it and had been sleeping with him. And she had told me that they had just slept together recently. Even if I wanted to, there is no option because of a health risk that I don't want to take.
I got you.
And that's the whole point in us being so close because at that time, that's literally one of my best friends. Why do I want to tell everybody in the bar what's going on? I don't. But it appeared like we were too close to each other. But like, you get what I'm saying? So we were at the bar, and I remember taking all of the shots that are mentioned. I remember all of them. I remember taking the last Rumpelmans. I remember him ordering the Rumpelmans. He ordered it. I paid for my tab at Patty's. He paid for my tab here.
Was it a thing where this girl, was her name Kathleen, Caitlin, she served you and then you had it right away, or did you wait a little bit?
So we didn't take them all at one time. Like, it was like I don't remember exactly the amount of time, but I have the time of what time we left the bar
Okay. So she
like 1:45.
Okay.
So between 10 and 1:45.
Gotcha.
You know?
So she served you, and then you had them.
So I went to the bathroom while she was making the last Rumplemans, or that only Rumplemans. When I came back, that shot was already on the bar. So that's the only one that I didn't see her making give directly to me. And whenever I took it, it was maybe like 2 or 3 minutes later, I could tell like I wasn't normal. It was like I don't know how to explain how I felt. Like I just felt like fucked up. It was weird. I wasn't drunk. Like I could tell, you know, like I in that moment, it wasn't immediately like, oh my God, I was drugged, but it was like, damn, why do I feel like that? I go from that to waking up at 6 a.m. to him literally having sex with me. Like he was literally physically fucking me, and that's what woke me up. And I remember being like,
where were you at?
His house. And he drove there. And I don't ever
He drove your vehicle?
Yes. He drove my car.
How do you know that?
Because he told me.
Okay, let me stop it right there. So when you were at Patty's, did he make any type of like, hey, I want to be with you, or like any type of comments?
A weird type of sexual preference. Okay, he likes to do things like with 4 people sometimes, or like he does different things or whatever. That's what I was aware of at that time. That's all I really know, is that he has those weird types of. However, he would make comments about like having a sexual sandwich with me and another person.
So he wanted a threesome?
Basically, is what he would, but that's the way he would kind of word it. Anyway, sorry, I'm trying really hard not to get emotional so that I can get it all out. Honestly, like, I remember going from having an hour-long conversation saying, don't touch me, because it's a health risk, to waking up to him literally having sex with me at his house.
And this was, you were having, so when he made the sexual comments to you about saying, oh, do you want to have a sandwich, this happened at Patty's, and you told him.
It has happened every time I've ever seen him.
Okay.
And it's more like a joke. To me, I took it as a joke. I didn't take it serious.
But this specific time, you made it clear to him that, you know, you were not going to be with him.
Not there. I didn't say it that, because I mean, I wasn't going to be like, oh my God, Asia has herpes. So when we were here, that's why we were so close, because I was like, hey bro, you got to stop trying, because even if I wanted to, it's not going to happen without papers. I would have to see that you're clean.
Because you were afraid that he would have. Okay, yes. I got you.
Anyway, I wake up at 6 a.m. to him literally doing that, and I remember saying, what are you doing? And him being like, something to do with waking you up, or so, I don't remember exactly what his words were. Something about waking me up, and I remember just laying there like, is this real? Or is this like a night? Like I felt like I had taken 4 Xanax bars, and I almost couldn't lift my head. It was like a weird. I don't even really like. Literally Xanax bars is the only way I know how to put it into words. I threw up the whole way, taking my kids to school, and all the way back that next morning. Like I woke up to that, saying, "What are you doing?" And I like got up, and I was kind of like confused, and then I even asked him like, "How do I get out? How do I get out of here?" Because I didn't even know how I got in. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I get out of the house? Like, can you show me where the front door is? I left, and I didn't really even say anything else at that time.
You left his house?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because you mentioned that he told you he brought you to his home, that he drove you there.
Yes.
And you woke up to him.
Literally having his dick inside of me while I was asleep.
Okay. All right.
Like, I was completely asleep and woke up to that. And that's not the only time other people walked in on him. The first time at 2 a.m. So I'm giving you what I remember is basically what I told you. Like, was the Patty's, the going there, having the conversation.
Of you not wanting to sleep with him.
Yes, and then basically waking up to that. It's not very easy for me to be like, first of all, it's fucking embarrassing. And I kept trying to like blame myself, like what did I do? But Carson is the one that was there that day.
Carson, who's Carson?
She's really more friends with him. We know each other, but we're not like friends. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. February 1st, I texted her and said, where are you at 1:46? Leaving at 1:46. At Mike's at 1:56. Those times are going to matter in a minute. So that literally gives you the time frame of when we left the bar and what time we got to his house.
So Carson, so is Carson a female?
Yes.
Okay, so she told you as you were leaving the bar that she was already at Mike's.
No, I left the bar at 1:46. She got to Mike's at 1:56. So she left the bar probably right after I did. Because it's not very far. It takes a couple minutes. It's literally right down the road. I woke up feeling weird, whatever. That night, I said, did you come in? Yes. Wait, what? I remember nothing. I only know you were there because of text. Oh, I didn't walk in on y'all, but Nitchie did. You were drunk, not gonna lie. I said, I don't think I was only drunk. She's like, please explain. Whatever. So I basically was like, I think he drugged me. I was like, what happened when we got to his house? She said, okay, so y'all were there before we got there, and Nitchie and Emma walked in on y'all, and I was in the kitchen, and then we left. But then Nitchie and Emma came back. I said, I don't remember anything from leaving the bar to him on top of me at 6 a.m. She said, I said, I just want to know what happened. How do I go from literally telling him sober that I think he has something and I wouldn't touch him without him getting tested? It wasn't an option for me to waking up with him on top of me.
Okay. So, when you woke up so this was on the 31st, so you woke up on the 1st
yes.
of February.
Technically, that's the night I went out, but it was February 1st before anything actually happened.
Okay.
Like, it was after midnight.
Okay. And then, you woke up to him penetrating you in the vagina. Was he utilizing a condom?
No.
Were you able to tell?
No condom.
No. Did you get
I didn't do anything after
you didn't get a sexual assault case?
I didn't go to the hospital. I kept blaming myself. I felt like at that time, especially with how much I couldn't really remember everything, it's like, how do I, that's a really hard allegation to make against somebody without really knowing. I don't remember all of the details. The whole next day was puking all day. I literally even, I've puked and slept and cried is basically literally what I said. I did it's all I did. I said, I don't do that no matter how drunk I am, especially not with someone I think has an STD. That is the conversation I had with her on the 1st. On the 2nd is when he tells me, we had a great time. Okay, first of all, I said, this is all me making it very clear that I wasn't happy about it, because I said, I need you to get checked tomorrow. Because he said, hey, what are you doing? I said, yeah, ... He said, you're tired? You tired? I was trying to get you to come to my bonfire. I said, I need you to go get checked tomorrow. He said, damn, show me some love. I told you I would. Just relax and say, hey, Mike, how was your day? Do you need a hug? I said, I'm honestly not happy. I don't remember leaving the bar. Just remember waking up, ... I told you that wasn't a risk I wanted to take. You came on to me. Sorry, you're not happy. I took care of you and woke you up like I promised. I said, so get tested and send me the paperwork, please. And I'll be very clear now. Do not ever touch me again, although I'm pretty sure I was very clear last night. Are you serious? Why are you being like that? You were super sweet. We had such a good time. I was nothing but a gentleman, safe space, whatever. It's like, I don't remember what happened, so I'm trying not to be a bitch. I am freaking the fuck out, and I really need you to get tested. Honestly, pissed off at myself for not being more responsible, but I never black out like that. And pissed off at you for not being more responsible after I kept on and on about not being willing to risk it. Saying it's a fucking risk, and you keep giving me shit, even if I know I was drugged, but I can't prove that, and I know I can't prove that. So my point is, what does it mean when you literally have a conversation over and over telling somebody that's a health risk I don't want to take, and even if it was only alcohol? How is that okay?
It's not.
Especially if he's literally admitting the fact that he knows that it was a risk I didn't want to take, and he still did it. The rest of it is, before I forget, this is the part I wanted to get to. Mm-hmm. We had a great time, whatever. Then you came on to me super hard. We came to my house and hung out for another 45 minutes with Jonathan, Amanda, and Carson. Then Carson left. Jonathan, you pulled me, we came to bed. I confirm with her over here.
Okay.
If it's blue highlighted, it's more about the health risk aspect. Yellow is it's a witness or something he lied about, and then
Have you ever tried to contact him about it and be confront him about it and say, hey, just to kind of get him to talk about it? And that's another option that I'll explain further.
He's already gonna know that I've reported it, probably.
Why?
Because I didn't report it until I found out I wasn't the only person.
Okay.
And then this is her saying, like I said, because obviously she had already told me what happened about it not being that 45 minutes, right? So then I said, hey, sorry for being annoying. You said y'all came there, Nitchie walked in, and then y'all left, right? But you said, I got it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm just trying to piece my life together. You're good. And yeah, we left after he walked in, and then I went home, and they stayed till 5 a.m. I sent her the thing, and she said, that's weird and annoying, you can't spell my name right. I said, that's not what happened, correct? I'm not going to say anything to him. I just need to know. From what I understand, I don't believe so. I said, you weren't at his house talking to us for 45 minutes. I never even saw y'all while I was there.
Okay.
And, I don't understand why he's lying about talking to us for 45 minutes Basically because that's where I was saying the time matters. How do we go from leaving at 1:46 to speaking with people for 45 minutes, but her not seeing me after 1:56?
Do you think he's lying?
I know there's more than one person that is sick, and I asked Mitchie. He said the same thing. I asked him if I was awake when he walked in at 2 a.m. He said I lifted up my head.
And then?
And that's it. Like, he just said he walked in, he was having sex with me, and I lifted my head. Because I was like, was I awake? Was I not awake? Like, what? He said that, and then I guess they left and came back and hung out with Mike for a little bit while I was asleep. And then he woke me up after they left, asking me while I was asleep.
Okay.
And then this is the conversation with him after.
So you spoke to him some more. That was Snapchat, this is text?
Yes. And then it shows you the dates and the difference.
I got you. He paints? What does he do?
I don't know what he does. Once I realized my own situation, what really happened, I was at the bar one night and I was talking to somebody who brought his name up.
So he's already being tested based on whatever he's saying. But you don't know that because you haven't seen papers.
And even if he has, he's had sex with her after getting tested.
He said, I took care of you. That's about... So you already provided all this screenshots
Yes.
to...
They already have it in the case file.
Okay. And you didn't go... So when you woke up, he wasn't utilizing a condom. You have not gotten tested for anything?
I did get tested. And I'm okay. She has herpes too. I got tested and it came back fine.
Negative?
Yes.
Okay. What about, did you get a sexual assault kit completed?
I did not do anything because I didn't even report it for 2 months. So because first of all, I was embarrassed. Second of all, you're not going to believe me. Like, not that you don't believe me, but you can't really do anything in court. How are you going to do, how am I going to go through all of this for no reason when I can't prove anything? Especially with the drinking involved. Or, like, it's hard. So, like, honestly, I was kind of fucked up in the head. I went to the bar one night, and I was sitting there with somebody who I've known for a very long time. He said something, I don't remember even how exactly it got brought up. And I kind of told him what happened. And he literally looked at me and he basically said something like, you're fucking lying. Not like, he's like...
Have you ever been to his house before?
No.
So you don't know what it looks like?
No, honestly, I know the address now because my mom checked my location and then someone else confirmed what the actual number to the house was.
Okay.
But basically, I was talking to somebody and it got brought up, and then I told him, and he basically was like, shut the fuck up, you're lying. Not really saying I was lying, but like, I heard that same thing about him doing that to people like a year ago, and I just kind of brushed it off, and now I feel bad. I'm like, what do you mean you've heard that? And he's like, well, this person knows all of these things. And I was basically telling me to talk to her. She is someone who moved away. I know her. I've known her for a very long time, but we're not like friends. Her sister and I went to high school about the same time. She's a little older. But she just had knowledge of other things that he had done in the past, I guess. And so her and I spoke, and she basically said, these are the people that were directly involved. She got me in contact with was his ex-wife, who he's done the exact same thing to, on top of beat her, and drug her, and rape her, according to her, allegedly, whatever you want to say. And then there's a guy named TJ. He's the way that I even got in contact with the ex-wife, because Jordan told me to talk to TJ, basically, and then whenever I reported it, the cops told me if you can get other people or know other people to let us know or whatever.
Right.
So obviously I have to talk to somebody to do that. I talked to him. He also said that he drugged and raped him and other people that he was aware of, multiple people, and the wife said the same. The other girls basically didn't say anything either because it was the same thing of drinking being involved. How do you prove it? They're scared of him. I'm not trying to scare you off or freak you out, but he's a really dangerous guy. He has all these connections because his mom used to be in law enforcement. He's like, I don't want to tell you not to report it, but this is also why no one else wanted to report it, because they know these things about him and they're kind of scared because they don't think that anything can be done, or they're scared that he might hurt them.
So your main concern here is, well, we now know that you don't have herpes. Your main concern here is that, you think that he raped you.
I know he did. I know, no matter what, I know. At the end of the day, even if nothing happened, or even if that other section was, I know it wasn't, but even if it was consensual, you don't fuck me while I'm asleep.
I got you.
I know for a fact that part happened.
You're not able to consent to anything if you're asleep. So, okay, I got you. So, what I'm gonna have you do, and this is completely up to you, like I can't force you obviously, but there is something that's called a recorded phone call. So what that is you would be contacting him, like through their phone.
I think he's smart enough to know that that would be happening.
Well, we can still try it if you want to. If you decide not to, I mean, that's okay. But you didn't get a sexual assault case completed. I don't have any DNA that I can compare to.
I waited too late to kind of really say anything, but at the same time, it was more like, now I am aware of 2 people who are telling me directly that this has happened to them.
Right.
I reported it when I did, because it was like maybe the day after or so, like, but it was because like, okay, at first it was like maybe it was just me, like basically all of those things in my head, like blaming myself or whatever.
I got his owner of Dad's Corner.
He sold it.
Oh, okay, so not anymore. Okay, so if you do decide to do the recorded phone call to him, you could be like, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I got tested and it was negative, whatever, like play the friend kind of thing and see what he says. You can get him to talk about the incident and see if he'll admit to it, because I don't have the sexual assault kit. There's not DNA that I can get and compare, so that's like, that evidence is out of the window. I can't do that. But the phone call, if you call him and he says like, oh yeah, this is what happened, that can be used as evidence, and we know that a sex act did occur. Does that make sense? The other thing would be me going to talk to him and see if he'll admit to that, but honestly, from what you're telling me, I don't think he's going to do that.
But it doesn't work like me saying for a whole hour it being a health risk, and he's admitting to the fact, even in these messages, that I made it very clear that there was a health risk, and he still had sex with me, but he's blaming it on me and making my own decisions. How does that work? I'm not understanding. At what point is it called rape when even if it was just the alcohol?
So you're not able to consent. It would still be a sex act because you're not.
But he is admitting to doing that.
In your right state of mind to consent.
He's admitting to that part.
He is not like admitting it, like
But he's admitting that we had sex.
Right.
And I'm also admitting that I said no when I was sober.
Saying that I took care of you. That will not really stand in court. That's the only, that's the only bad part about this. But if you call him and you tell him like, hey, I tested negative for this. I just wanted to see if you could kind of walk me one more time through what happened.
If he were to admit to you that he was aware of the health risk, and then even if he were to say or if there were no drugs or whatever, but if he were to say, yes, I know that she was worried about that, we drank and then we still had sex, even if he were saying it was consensual, is that not enough?
Well, you're saying no.
Even though I know it wasn't, but I'm saying, if he's saying that, okay, I know, if he does say, yes, I know she was having this concern when she was sober, and we drank, and he's going to pretend like that's all that happened, and then we had sex. If he admits to both of those, is that not already enough?
There would still need to be a whole confession about, yes, I did this to her, she was unconscious. If he says that you were unconscious, I feel like that would be enough evidence, because you can't consent. Does that make sense? Yes, you were drunk, but you were not in your right state of mind to consent to any type of to anything, to do anything. That's why this recorded phone call is important. Just kind of see what he says.
I just honestly don't think it's going to work. And it kind of makes me even more nervous. I don't know. Honestly, I don't live very far from him. I'm home by myself all the time.
Yeah. So we could...
And they told me to do an injunction on him. And I was going to... But it's then they were talking about the same thing, the phone call. And it's okay, if I try to do the injunction, how am I going to do that and the phone call? So I didn't do the injunction yet because I was waiting to talk to someone.
Well, if you want to do the phone call, we can do that. That's fine. I would do the recorded phone call and see what he has to say. I'm going to be sitting next to you, and I'm going to be telling you what to ask him. But kind of you have to play it, smart and be hey, I just want to let you know that I got tested. It was negative. What about you? Did you get tested? And then get him to tell you a little bit more about, that whole night, and see if he'll admit to it. And then we can work with that. And we can go from there. I don't know what he's going to tell me. I don't know what he's going to say in the recorded phone call to you, because he's not going to know that I'm going to be listening.
I think he is going to know, though.
Well,
I think that he is going to 100% know. I don't think that there's any way he's going to incriminate himself. on a phone call like that. Like, I'm not saying that I'm against it. I'm just saying that even if we do it, he's very manipulative. Like,
Gotcha.
even with the way that he's like talking to other people about the situation.
Well, we're never gonna know whether he's gonna incriminate himself or not if we don't try it. So, if you want to do it, that's fine. If you don't feel comfortable doing it now, you want to do it maybe at a later date, you can do that also. It's completely up to you, whatever makes you feel more comfortable. I don't want to go talk to him without having the recorded phone call. Does that make sense? And I can't talk to him by myself. It has to be with someone else. So if you choose to do that, then that's fine. We can do it. If you don't, then we can also go from there. I would just talk to him and see what he has to say.
Can we maybe do the recorded phone call tomorrow?
We can do the recorded phone call tomorrow. If there's multiple allegations, then sometimes we do a complaint affidavit, because there's been multiple people that have already had the same allegations. So we're someone in, we use something that's called like we base our affidavit on the Williams rule, and basically what that is someone that does the same thing utilizing the same MO. So it is up to the state whether they can pick up the case or if they just don't want to do anything with it or want to drop it. But they would have to obviously come forward and report the case for us to be able to investigate it and, probably do something with it. Like, let's say that I don't have any other leads on your case. Like, he says now you don't want to do a recorded phone call. Well, I really have no evidence to substantiate what you're saying that happened. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I have to be able to prove it, obviously. But if there's multiple people saying, hey, this happened, then, we can make a case against him based on the Williams rule. Because there's other people stating that the same thing happened with him, and we could do maybe a complaint affidavit on him. But that is like worst case scenario. Like, so let's say that he doesn't.
Honestly, I think that's going to be our only option. But then I'm also nervous because I don't really know these people, and they might say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do it," but then what if they don't actually show up? Because it's not like they're people I've known. Like, I literally have not, like, the people that were actually directly involved I have never talked to before in my life. So it's not, so how do I know that they're not gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then not? And then the other officer told me to bring me names like that to him originally, and that they would like investigate from there. Is that something that you would do, or do they have to? How would that work?
Well, before we can investigate anything, we need to determine jurisdiction.
I'm pretty sure a lot of it was the same house.
Okay. If it happened in that house, then obviously, the county will investigate it. If it happened in the city of Winter Haven, then the city of Winter Haven will investigate it. That's why we need, they need to come forward if they choose to do so we can determine where the alleged crime took place, and that we can get all the details, but they need to come forward. I can't come up to people and say, oh yeah, were you a victim of a crime?
He says, hey, no, we were here for 45 minutes, and she says, hey, no, we weren't.